My name is Mufti Menk, and I welcome you to this peaceful sanctuary of reflection and guidance. Life is a journey filled with unexpected turns, delays, and changes that often leave us questioning why things happen the way they do. But every shift, every detour, every moment of restlessness is not by chance, it is Allah redirecting us toward what is better. When you face delays, know they are mercy, not punishment. When your heart feels unsettled, it may be Allah calling you closer. When loss enters your life, it is often His protection. And when one door closes, sincere dua opens new doors you never imagined. Remember, every change is stitched with His wisdom. Join me as we explore these powerful reminders together. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss the inspiration that may change your life. Sometimes in life you walk through a door with all your heart, believing it will lead you to peace, to happiness, to success, only for that door to close right in front of you. You feel the sting of rejection, the weight of confusion, and the heaviness of wondering why Allah would let you walk that far only to stop you. In those moments, the whispers of doubt begin to creep in. You start asking yourself if you did something wrong, if you failed, if Allah has abandoned you. But the truth, my beloved brothers and sisters, is that sudden detours are never accidents. They are never the result of random chaos. They are the threads of Allah's wisdom, weaving your life into a pattern far more beautiful than you can currently see. When doors close, they close with divine precision. Think about how often in your own life something didn't go according to your plan, only for you to later look back and realize it was the best thing that could have happened. The job you didn't get, the relationship that ended, the opportunity that slipped from your hands at the time, they felt like heartbreaks. But when the dust settled, you discovered that those very losses were protecting you, redirecting you, preparing you for what was meant to come. Allah tells us in the Quran, but perhaps you hate a thing and it is good for you, and perhaps you love a thing and it is bad for you, and Allah knows while you know not. 2:116. This verse is not just a reminder, it is a lifeline. It teaches us that our vision is limited, but Allah's wisdom is infinite. Imagine a child crying because their parent pulls them away from touching fire. In that moment, the child cannot understand why their desire was denied. They only feel pain in being stopped, but the parent sees what the child cannot. They see the danger, they see the harm, and they protect with love, even if it means breaking the child's momentary happiness. Allah is far more merciful than any parent. So when He redirects you, when He pulls you from something you thought you wanted, it is always out of love. It is always for your ultimate good. Sudden detours test us because they confront our illusion of control. We plan, we strategize, we dream, and we convince ourselves that everything will unfold exactly the way we picture it. But then life throws us into situations we never expected. This is where faith becomes real. It is easy to say, I trust Allah, when everything is going according to your plan. True trust is proven when nothing is going according to your plan, yet you still walk forward, still believe, still whisper Alhamdulillah with tears in your eyes. Look at the stories of the prophets. Yusuf was thrown into a well by his own brothers, sold into slavery, and imprisoned for a crime he did not commit. From one perspective, his life looked like a series of painful detours. But in Allah's plan, every closed door was redirecting him to the palace, to leadership, to wisdom, to a destiny greater than he could imagine. The same well that seemed like his end was the beginning of his rise. When you feel like life has pushed you into a pit, remember Yusuf. Remember that sometimes what feels like rock bottom is simply the foundation Allah is building for your future, and reflect on the hera of the Prophet Muhammad. Forced to leave his beloved city of Makkah, separated from home and family. It seemed like a devastating loss, yet that very detour opened the door to Medina, to the flourishing of Islam, to the strength of a community that changed the course of history. If the Messenger of Allah had to walk through sudden changes and unexpected turns, then know that your own detours are part of the same divine system. Do not mistake delay for denial. Do not mistake redirection for rejection. Sometimes Allah removes people from your life because their presence would block your growth. Sometimes He closes a path because it would lead you away from Him. Sometimes He allows your plans to crumble so that you can fall into sujud and discover a plan greater than yours. With every closed door, there is an opening elsewhere, even if you cannot see it yet. When life shifts suddenly, resist the urge to panic. Instead, pause, breathe, say Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Truly, we belong to Allah, and to Him we will return. This phrase is not only for death, it is for every loss, every ending, every detour. It grounds you in surrender. It reminds you that nothing slips away except by His permission, and nothing arrives except by His command. In those moments, increase your dua. Speak to Allah from the depths of your heart. Tell Him your fears, your confusion, your hopes. Dua is not about informing Allah of what He does not know, He already knows. Dua is about softening your heart, reminding yourself that you are never walking these detours alone. The road may twist, but Allah is guiding your steps. Patience is not passive. Patience is active surrender. It is choosing not to give up, not to complain, not to despair, but to keep moving forward with trust. Allah does not test without wisdom, and He does not redirect without purpose. The patience you practice today will one day become the story you tell about how Allah carried you through when you thought you could not go on. So the next time a door closes, the next time a delay frustrates you, the next time life pulls you in a direction you did not choose, remind yourself sudden detours are not accidents, they are signs. They are mercy disguised as loss. They are love disguised as redirection. And one day, when you look back, you will see how every detour was a straight path all along, because it was taking you exactly where Allah always intended you to be. Trust the detour, for it is never a mistake. It is Allah guiding you to something greater. Delays are among the greatest tests of the human heart. We live in a world that teaches us to rush, to demand instant results, to believe that if something is not happening now, it may never happen. But Allah, in His infinite wisdom, often slows us down. And when He slows us down, it is not because He has abandoned us, nor because we are being punished. Rather, it is because His timing is perfect, and His mercy is beyond what we can grasp. What lies ahead might not be ready for you, or you might not yet be ready for it, so He delays, not to harm you, but to protect you and prepare you. Think of the seed planted deep in the soil. It does not sprout the day it is sown. It takes time, water, patience, and the right season. If you try to force it before its time, you ruin it. But if you wait, if you trust the unseen process, it blooms into something beautiful. This is how Allah deals with us. Our prayers, our dreams, our hopes, they are planted like seeds, and delays are the time of nurturing, of growth, of unseen preparation. The harvest comes only when the moment is right. There are times when you beg Allah for something and you feel your heart breaking because the answer does not arrive. You see others moving ahead in life. You see doors opening for them, and you wonder why yours remain closed. You may even cry at night, wondering if Allah has ignored your pleas. But remember, Allah never ignores the sincere call of His servant. He hears every dua, every whisper, every tear that falls. The Prophet Muhammad told us that Allah responds in three ways. He may grant immediately, He may withhold and replace it with something better, or He may save the reward for the hereafter. In all three, there is goodness. In all three, there is mercy. When Allah delays, it is because He knows what you do not know. You may be asking for something that would harm you if it came too soon. You may be dreaming of something that, in your current state, you are not ready to carry. He holds it back, not because He wants to deprive you, but because He wants to give it to you at the best time, the time when it will elevate you, not destroy you. Think about Musa. His mother placed him in the river as a baby, terrified of losing him, uncertain of his fate. Yet Allah delayed the reunion between mother and child. That delay must have felt like agony to her heart, but it was that very delay which protected Musa, raised him in the palace, and prepared him for his future role as a prophet. Had the reunion been immediate, the divine wisdom would not have been fulfilled. The delay was mercy, though it felt like heartbreak in the moment. Look also at the story of Maryam. She withdrew in seclusion, carrying a burden that made her people question her, doubt her, shame her. Her relief did not come instantly. She had to endure the pain of labor alone, under a palm tree, crying out in despair. But Allah provided her with sustenance, with water, with strength at the exact moment she needed it most. The delay in her relief was not cruelty. It was a means of showing her Allah's care at the perfect time. Delays are a form of divine training. They teach patience, humility, and reliance upon Allah. They strip away arrogance and entitlement. When you are delayed, you learn to fall in sujood, to cry in the stillness of the night, to whisper, Ya Allah, I trust you even when I do not understand you. Without delays, our hearts would grow attached only to the gifts, not the giver. By slowing us down, Allah redirects our gaze back to Him, the source of all provision, the source of all joy, the source of all relief. Sometimes Allah delays because He wants you to value the blessing when it finally comes. If everything you asked for came instantly, you would take it for granted. But when you wait, when you pray for months or years, when you cry in silence, and hold on to hope despite the delay, the moment Allah grants your request, your heart explodes with gratitude. You taste the sweetness of His mercy in a way you never could have without the wait. Do not let the whisper of Shaitan trick you into despair during times of delay. He will tell you, see, Allah has forgotten you, He does not love you, He will not answer you. But Allah says in the Quran, so remember me, I will remember you, and be grateful to me, and do not deny me. 152. The one who remembers Allah is never forgotten. The one who turns to Allah is never abandoned. Every delay is remembered, every tear is counted, every sigh is heard. Delays also protect you from arrogance. If success came immediately, without effort or patience, you might attribute it to yourself. But when success comes after a long delay, you know deep in your soul it was not your power, not your skill, but Allah's mercy that delivered it. You bow down in humility and gratitude because you know you could never have done it without Him. Sometimes what you see as a delay is actually Allah pushing you away from harm. That business you wanted to start, that job you desperately wanted, that person you thought was perfect for you, when Allah withholds, it may be because the outcome would bring you heartbreak, loss, or even destruction. How many times have you looked back on something you once begged for, only to say, Alhamdulillah, it did not happen? That is the wisdom of Allah at work. That is the mercy in delay. So when your life feels paused, when you feel stuck, when you are waiting and waiting with no sign of progress, know that Allah has not rejected you. Know that He is still writing your story with love. Every delay is preparing you for a blessing that is greater, deeper, and more enduring. Trust His timing, because His timing is always perfect. What feels like waiting is in reality divine protection, divine preparation, divine mercy. Your role is not to rush Allah, but to trust Him, to keep making dua, to keep holding patience, to keep walking in faith, even when the road feels long. And when the moment finally comes, when the delay turns into deliverance, you will look back and understand that the wait was worth every second, because Allah's plan was never late. Delays are mercy, never punishment, and every second of waiting carries within it the love of Allah. There are moments in life when, on the surface, everything seems fine. You may have comfort, stability, even the things you once prayed for. To the world, it looks as though you should be content, yet deep within, your heart feels unsettled. A quiet unrest lingers in your soul, whispering that something is missing, that you are not aligned with where you are meant to be. This feeling is not random, nor is it weakness. That restlessness is Allah awakening you. It is His gentle call, His loving nudge, guiding you to rise higher in faith and purpose. The heart is the most precious gift Allah has given. It is the seat of your faith, the place where remembrance of Him resides. When your heart feels restless, despite the ease around you, it is often a sign that you have drifted from the closeness of Allah. Outward comfort can never substitute for inner peace, and inner peace can only be found in the remembrance of Allah. He says in the Quran, "Verily, in the remembrance of Allah do hearts find rest." 13:28. If your heart is not resting, it may be because it longs for that remembrance. It may be Allah's way of calling you back to Him, reminding you that true tranquility does not come from wealth, success, or people, but from Him alone. This unrest can take many forms. It might appear as unease in your daily life, as if you are moving but not progressing. It might show up as dissatisfaction even when you have what you thought would make you happy. Sometimes it comes as a quiet voice asking, "Is this really the life I was created for?" And sometimes it is a heavy sadness, a deep void you cannot explain. Whatever form it takes, do not ignore it. That unease is a mercy. It is a signal that Allah does not want you to settle for less than what He created you for. Think about the story of Prophet Yunus. When he left his people in frustration, he found himself in the belly of a whale, wrapped in darkness upon darkness. Can you imagine the unrest in his heart in that moment? Yet it was in that very state of restlessness that he turned back to Allah with the words, "There is no deity except you, exalted are you. Indeed, I have been of the wrongdoers." 21:87. His unrest became the doorway to his greatest prayer, and his prayer became the cause of his salvation. When your heart feels unsettled, it may be Allah positioning you for the same, a return, a surrender, a prayer that lifts you higher. The Prophet Muhammad taught us that the heart is like a compass. When something feels wrong, even if people around you say it is right, listen to your heart. He said, "Consult your heart. Righteousness is that about which the soul feels at ease, and the heart feels tranquil. And sin is that which wavers in the soul and causes uneasiness in the chest." Ahmad. That restlessness inside is not to be dismissed. It is guidance, a divine alert telling you to realign yourself, to examine your choices, and to return to the path of purity. How often do people chase after worldly achievements, believing that success will silence the unrest within, only to discover that no matter how much they achieve, the heart still aches. This is because the soul was not created to be filled with the dunya. It was created to be nourished by faith, by remembrance, by the nearness of Allah. A heart deprived of its true nourishment will always feel restless, no matter how much it is fed with material comfort. Sometimes Allah allows this restlessness to intensify because it is the only way to wake us from heedlessness. We become too comfortable, too distracted, too attached to this world. If He did not shake our hearts, we would remain asleep. But when the heart begins to ache, when it refuses to settle, that is Allah calling you to rise, to purify yourself, to seek His pleasure above all else. It is a gift disguised as discomfort. Even in your prayers, you may feel the unrest. You bow, you recite, but your heart feels absent. This too is a signal. It is Allah reminding you that worship is not a ritual to be rushed, but a connection to be cherished. That unease in your salah is a gentle pull to slow down, to reflect, to pray not with your tongue alone, but with your heart. The unrest you feel is often the gap between who you are and who Allah wants you to become. It is the distance between the life you are living and the purpose you were created for. Every soul was created with a mission, a calling, a path that leads it to Allah. When you stray too far from that, your heart protests. It refuses to be at peace until you return to alignment with Him. Do not numb this unrest with distractions. Do not drown it in entertainment, in noise, in temporary escapes. Those may silence it for a moment, but it will always return, louder than before. The only way to truly calm an unsettled heart is to respond to its call to turn back to Allah, to increase your remembrance, to purify your life, to renew your purpose. When you feel that restlessness, increase your dua. Speak to Allah sincerely, saying, Ya Allah, if I am far from you, bring me closer. If I am lost, guide me back. If my heart is unsettled, fill it with your light. Dua transforms unrest into intimacy, for every call to Allah is answered with His closeness. Remember, my beloved brothers and sisters, unrest in the heart is not a curse. It is not a sign of rejection. It is a gift. It is Allah loving you enough to not let you settle for less. It is His mercy shaking you gently, telling you there is more for you, more in your faith, more in your purpose, more in your connection with Him. So the next time your soul feels unsettled despite the comfort around you, do not despair. Do not suppress it. Embrace it as a sign that Allah is awakening you, guiding you, pulling you higher. For what your heart seeks is not found in the world, but in Him. When your soul feels restless, it is Allah's way of telling you to rise, to return, to realign, because true peace only begins with Him. There are moments in life when something you thought you could never live without is taken from you. A person you loved, an opportunity you counted on, a dream you held tightly to suddenly slips from your grasp. The pain feels unbearable, the loss feels unfair, and the heart asks, why me? Why now? In those moments, it is natural to feel broken. But if you look through the eyes of faith, you will see that unexpected loss is not cruelty. It is divine protection. What you cling to may not always be good for you, and Allah, in His endless mercy, removes it so that you are not harmed by what you cannot yet see. Allah tells us in the Quran, it may be that you dislike something while it is good for you, and it may be that you love something while it is bad for you, and Allah knows while you know not. 2:216. This is not just a verse for comfort, it is a truth to live by. We cannot see the future, we cannot know the unseen, but Allah does. So when He takes something away, it is never out of anger, never out of neglect. It is out of love. He removes what would harm you, and He prepares you for what will heal you. Think of how often people beg for something, only to later realize it would have destroyed them. A marriage they once cried for, but that would have been filled with misery. A job they desperately wanted, but that would have stolen their peace. A friend they thought was loyal, but whose presence would have pulled them away from Allah. When these are removed, the wound is real, but so is the protection. We only see the surface, but Allah sees the entire picture. His removal is mercy, even when it feels like loss. The companions of the Prophet Muhammad experienced this reality many times. At Uhud, they suffered painful losses. Many lives were taken, including loved ones, and the Muslims felt the sting of defeat. Yet even in that moment of heartbreak, Allah revealed verses to remind them that every loss carries wisdom, that every soul belongs to Him, and that no pain is wasted in His sight. Allah says, "Do not weaken and do not grieve, and you will be superior if you are true believers." 3:139. Loss was not abandonment, it was a lesson, a purification, a strengthening of their faith. Sometimes Allah removes people because He knows their presence would anchor you to this world when your soul was created for higher. Sometimes He takes away an opportunity because it would distract you from your purpose. Sometimes He closes a door because the path behind it would lead you to harm. We often cry over what we lose, but if we could see what He is saving us from, our hearts would fall in sujood with gratitude. Reflect on the story of Khidr and Musa in Surah Al-Kahf. Musa could not understand why Khidr damaged the boat of poor people, or why he killed a young boy. To Musa, it looked like cruelty. But Khidr explained the wisdom. The boat was spared from being seized by a tyrant, and the boy was taken before he could grow to bring grief and disbelief to his parents. What looked like loss was protection. What looked like harm was mercy. Our lives are filled with similar moments, things that seem unfair, painful, or destructive, but which, in reality, are Allah shielding us from greater harm. Unexpected loss also awakens us to the reality that nothing belongs to us. We think we own people, relationships, or possessions, but in truth, everything is a trust from Allah. He lends them to us for a time, and when He takes them back, it is His right. The Prophet Muhammad reminded us when his own son Ibrahim passed away as a baby. The eyes shed tears and the heart grieves, but we do not say except that which pleases Allah. Indeed, we are saddened by your departure, O Ibrahim. He acknowledged the pain of loss, but he also surrendered to Allah's wisdom. That balance is what keeps the heart steady, allowing grief, but never losing trust. When you lose someone or something, it is natural to cry, to feel broken. Islam does not deny the reality of pain, but Islam also teaches us that loss is not the end. With every removal, there is replacement. With every difficulty, there is ease. Allah's mercy ensures that no loss is without purpose, and no heartbreak is without healing. Sometimes what He gives you after a loss is far greater than what He took away, and sometimes the reward is reserved for the hereafter, where every tear will be turned into joy, and every pain into eternal peace. Loss can also be a wake-up call. When Allah takes away what you relied upon, it is often to remind you to rely on Him alone. He removes the false anchors so that your heart clings only to Him. People may leave, wealth may disappear, opportunities may fade, but Allah remains. And when you realize that, you find a strength that no loss can shake. It is in the moments of loss that dua becomes most powerful. In your weakness, when words are broken and tears flow, your prayers rise with sincerity. And Allah loves the broken-hearted who turn to Him because their dua is free from pride. So do not let loss silence you. Let it push you into sujood where healing begins. If you are grieving now, know that Allah has not wronged you. He is not punishing you. He is protecting you. Your pain today may be the very thing saving you from greater pain tomorrow. Your tears today may be watering the seeds of blessings you cannot yet see. And your heartache may be the path to a closeness with Allah you would never have known otherwise. So the next time you lose something you thought you could not live without, remember it was never yours. It belonged to Allah, and He only takes to give. He only removes to protect, and He only tests to elevate. Every unexpected loss is a hidden mercy, every heartbreak a shield, every removal a step closer to what is better. And when you trust this, you will learn to see your losses not as endings, but as beginnings of Allah's greater plan. Unexpected loss is divine protection, and every removal is preparing you for what will heal you. When a door closes in life, The first response of many hearts is fear, confusion, or sorrow. But for the believer who truly understands Allah's wisdom, a closed path is not the end of hope. It is an invitation to turn inward, to raise the hands, and to call upon the Lord of the worlds with sincerity. Dua is not simply words that leave the tongue. It is the most powerful expression of humility, faith, and surrender. It is a declaration that you do not control your future, that you cannot open doors with your strength alone, but that every key rests in the hands of Allah. And when you realize this, when you bow your heart before Him in complete submission, you begin to see that dua is not only a request, it is a bridge between despair and hope, between fear and peace, between the unknown and the certainty that Allah is always near. How many times in life have we felt lost, wandering in circles, unsure of where to go? How many times have we stood before walls that felt unmovable, problems that weighed so heavily on our hearts that we felt trapped? It is in those very moments that dua becomes the lifeline of the believer. It is as if Allah closes every worldly door so that we are left with only one door to knock on His. And when you knock with sincerity, with tears, with patience, that door will always open. Perhaps not in the way you imagine, perhaps not in the time you demand, but always in the way that is best for your soul and your eternal journey. Consider the stories of the prophets. When Yunus was swallowed by the whale, trapped in layers of darkness, the darkness of the night, the darkness of the sea, and the darkness of the belly of the whale, no worldly solution existed for him. No human could hear his cry, no tool could break him free, no path was visible. Yet he turned to Allah in dua. There is no God but you, glory be to you, I was indeed among the wrongdoers. In that desperate plea, Allah responded. The whale released him, and his life was spared. This is the power of dua. It transforms impossibilities into realities. It replaces hopelessness with divine rescue. When doors close, Allah is not abandoning you. He is guiding you. He is teaching you to rely not on people, not on wealth, not on status, but only on Him. And with every sincere dua, He opens doors you never thought existed. A believer who trusts in dua does not despair when opportunities are taken away. Instead, they see the removal as a clearing of the path for something greater. Sometimes what you thought you needed would have harmed you, or delayed your growth, or distracted you from your true purpose. Allah, in His mercy, closes that door and waits for you to turn to Him. When you do, He grants what is better, even if your heart cannot yet see it. Think about how many people have prayed for something only to be denied, and later they realized that denial was the greatest blessing. A job that was missed only for a better one to come. A relationship that ended only for the heart to be saved from pain. A delay that seemed unbearable only for the timing to later reveal its wisdom. Each time you raise your hands, Allah hears you, even when your voice is silent. Even when the dua is only a whisper in your heart, He is closer to you than your jugular vein. He knows the words you cannot form, the tears you cannot explain, the weight you cannot carry. And in that nearness, He writes answers that are filled with mercy. There is a beauty in dua that the world cannot match. It does not require wealth, status, or eloquence. A child can make dua. An elderly person on their deathbed can make dua. A sinner in regret can make dua. A broken soul can make dua. And every one of them is heard by the same Lord, who responds with wisdom and mercy. That is why the Prophet taught us that dua is the essence of worship. Because in it we admit our weakness and recognize His perfection. In it we admit our poverty and recognize His richness. In it, we admit our need and recognize His endless giving. But dua is not only about asking, it is about trusting. It is easy to raise your hands, but it takes faith to leave the matter with Allah without demanding the outcome you desire. Sometimes He delays because you are not ready yet. Sometimes He holds back because the gift is too great to give all at once. Sometimes He redirects because He wants you to walk a path that leads you closer to Him. What appears as silence is not neglect. What appears as delay is not rejection. It is divine arrangement, carefully preparing you for a door that will open at the perfect time. So when paths close and you feel lost, do not let despair take root. Let dua be your anchor. Sit in the stillness of the night, raise your hands and speak to the one who never tires of hearing you. Pour out your fears, your hopes, your longings, your pain. And when you rise, know that your prayer has already been answered in ways you may not yet see. With patience and trust, you will witness doors open that align not only with your worldly needs, but with your eternal good. Allah never forgets the dua of a sincere heart, and He never leaves the one who trusts Him empty-handed. And so, when one path closes, do not grieve. Remember that every closed door is an opening toward Allah, and with sincere dua, He will guide you to doors beyond your imagination, doors that lead not only to what you seek in this life, but to what your soul truly longs for in the next. Life is filled with shifts, moments where everything changes suddenly, sometimes without warning, leaving you wondering why things unfolded the way they did. In those moments, your heart may ache, your plans may shatter, and your mind may drown in questions. But if you pause and reflect, you will realize that nothing in this life happens outside the wisdom of Allah. Every redirection, every delay, every sudden change is part of a divine pattern, carefully designed by the one who knows you better than you know yourself. What seems to be a loss today may be the very thing that saves you tomorrow. What feels like an obstacle may be the protection that prevents you from walking into harm. And what you thought was an ending may actually be the beginning of a chapter filled with blessings you could not have imagined. The human heart is impatient by nature. We plan, we dream, we expect everything to unfold in a straight line. But Allah, in His mercy, often takes us on a path that twists and turns, teaching us lessons along the way, shaping our character, humbling our souls, and preparing us for something greater. Sometimes the redirection is painful because we are being pulled away from what we loved. But have you not seen how a child clings to something dangerous, unaware of the harm it holds, until the parent gently removes it from their hand? In that moment, the child cries, not knowing it is protection. Similarly, when Allah takes something away or shifts you in a different direction, your tears may fall, but hidden within that moment is mercy beyond measure. Think of Yusuf, thrown into a well by his brothers, later sold into slavery, then imprisoned unjustly. Each of these moments could have been seen as devastation, as rejection, as hopeless loss. Yet every shift was stitched with wisdom. Each redirection carried him closer to his destiny. Without the well, there would be no palace. Without the palace, there would be no prison. Without the prison, there would be no throne in Egypt, no reunion with his family, no story of patience that inspires the world. What seemed like layers of misfortune were actually steps on a ladder raised by Allah's hand. The same is true for you. When something leaves your life, it is not a sign that you are abandoned. It is a sign that Allah, who is most loving and most merciful, is redirecting you to something better for your soul, even if your eyes cannot yet see it. At times, you may wonder why you lost a person you trusted, why an opportunity slipped through your fingers, why a door you prayed for remained closed. The truth is, Allah's wisdom is not limited by your desires. He gives not just what you want, but what you need, and sometimes He withholds what you want because it would have destroyed your peace, corrupted your heart, or led you away from Him. Patience becomes the key in these moments. To trust that Allah's mercy is greater than your understanding, to believe that His plan is unfolding with perfection, is to find peace even when your heart aches. This is why the Prophet reminded us, amazing is the affair of the believer. Verily, all of his affair is good, and this is not for anyone except the believer. If something pleasing befalls him, he is grateful, and that is good for him. If something harmful befalls him, he is patient, and that is good for him. This means that in every shift, whether sweet or bitter, there is goodness for the one who trusts in Allah. Have you noticed how often in life you look back at something you once prayed for, something you thought you could not live without, and realize later it would have been your downfall? Have you noticed how what once broke your heart later became the source of your strength? This is how Allah works. He removes in order to replace, He delays in order to prepare, He redirects in order to protect. His wisdom stretches far beyond the horizon of your vision. While you see the moment, He sees the entire journey. Every shift is a reminder that this world is temporary, that nothing here is fixed, and that the only stability lies in turning to Allah. The comfort you long for is not in holding on to what slips away, but in trusting the one who never lets go. To surrender to Allah's wisdom is not weakness, it is the highest strength. It is to acknowledge that you are limited and He is limitless. It is to accept that what He writes for you will always be more perfect than what you could ever write for yourself. So when the unexpected happens, do not rush into despair. Do not drown in the illusion that you are lost. Instead, pause. Breathe. Remind your heart that Allah's mercy never fails. Whisper to yourself that this redirection is not random. It is chosen for you with love. Walk forward even if the steps feel heavy, with the certainty that every shift is a step toward your ultimate good. And when the day comes that the wisdom unfolds, when you see the blessings hidden behind the losses, you will realize that Allah was never distant, never unjust, never silent. He was guiding you all along, carrying you through storms so that you could arrive safely at the shore. Every shift in your life, no matter how sudden or painful, is stitched with Allah's wisdom, and if you trust Him, you will always find that His plan leads you exactly where you were meant to be. May Allah bless you with patience in trials, clarity in confusion, and strength in faith. Trust His wisdom, for He never fails His servants. Until we meet again, stay steadfast, stay hopeful, and keep your heart connected to Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.